Joining us now is Editor Obadina, Editor SportsIntel.ng. Editor, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for joining. A clash that on paper, Nigeria, of course, has penciled Nigeria as favourite. But a lot of persons, with what we've seen so far, with the likes of Mali playing 10 against 11, going all the way to penalty shootout. Is it a game that we should just rest and say it's done and dusted, or we should be careful, knowing fully well that Mozambique can also be a banana peel?
No two games are the same, so we cannot say a game is done and dusted, even if you are sure, basically, that this your team, a particular team like the Super Eagles, they can dominate easily. You cannot conclude until the game is done after 90 minutes. So I think we should still hold out, hoping that the team gives their best to win this game. We've seen situations of pattern, and that's what we are hoping that by this game it will be solved before we can talk about having that assurance. Saw the Cameroon and South African game. Football is 90 minutes, so you have to perform for the whole of the 90 minutes. We've seen how Super Eagles can sometimes lose focus in the last 3 group games, although they scored just enough to win the games and held off also just enough for some closer games, basically. So we can't say it's a done and dusted game.
All right, if you were in the shoes of Eric Chelle, what kind of formation or players would you adopt? I mean, we've seen different kind of formation, well, not different per se, but different personnels. The first game, the second game against Tunisia, the third game against Uganda, the third game actually happened to give us even more goals when you look at the combination of Rafael Onyedika, Alex Iwobi, Frank Oyeka, amongst others. What kind of player or personnel would you deploy, or should the coach look at, heading into today's game? Okay, Damiloju, if you were in the shoes of Eric Chelle, what kind of formation would you deploy, ahead of today's clash?
I want to look at our performance in 2 separate spheres, when we actually needed results and when we had already qualified. So when we had already qualified against Uganda, we came up with a 4-4-2 system and were able to score goals, and it was a great performance from Rafael Onyedika. And I think Rafael Onyedika, based on my observation in that match against Uganda, has played himself into the strongest lineup by the Super Eagles.